Alex Jensen adjusted the collar of his uniform as he entered the bustling intergalactic space station. It was a melting pot of cultures and species, each corner a live diorama of interstellar diplomacy and cooperation. Today, however, was not just any ordinary day at the station. It was the opening of the much-anticipated Cultural Exchange Conference. As he made his way through the crowd, Alex's eyes caught a group of delegates from a planet he couldn't immediately recognize. That wasn't unusual. With new species making contact with the United Earth government every few months, keeping track was a job all on its own. He approached the group, his hand extended in a universal gesture of peace. "Hello," he greeted warmly. "I'm Alex Jensen, Earth's cultural attaché. Welcome to the Helios station." A tall, blue-skinned figure stepped forward. "I am Lyra," she said, her voice melodious, almost singing each word. "I represent the Zilithians from the Corward sector. It's our first engagement with your kind." "Pleasure to meet you, Lyra," Alex replied, his smile genuine. Around them, various species mingled, exchanging pleasantries and information in dozens of languages, some translated by devices, others understood through universal translators. Lyra gestured to her companions, introducing them in turn. "This is Varan and Tila," she said as two other Zilithians, both with striking silver hair and sharp eyes, nodded courteously. "Are you all excited about the conference?" Alex asked, guiding them towards the main hall where the opening ceremony would soon commence. "Indeed," Varan responded. "We are keen to learn about your practices. We have much to share and much to understand." "As are we," Alex said, leading them through the holographic displays showcasing various Earth landscapes. "Is there anything particular on Earth you're interested in?" Lyra's eyes shone with curiosity. "Your planet's art and music. We've heard they are quite vibrant and expressive." "You've come to the right place then," Alex chuckled. "There's a session tomorrow on Earth's classical and contemporary music forms. I think you'll find it fascinating." As they chatted, they reached the grand auditorium, a vast space with seating arranged in a semicircle. The walls were alive with soft, moving lights, mimicking the starry space outside. "I must prepare for my part in the ceremony," Alex excused himself. "But afterwards, I'd be honored to show you some of Earth's musical instruments in person." "That would be delightful," Lyra said, her smile widening. "We look forward to it, Alex." With a final nod, Alex left them at their seats and headed backstage. The weight of his role, to foster unity and understanding among so many diverse beings, never felt more profound. As the lights dimmed and the first speaker took the stage, Alex watched from the wings. The station, a hub of so many different lives and stories, was more than just a place of meeting. It was where the future began. And as he glanced back at Lyra and her companions, he felt a spark of something new and thrilling stir within him. This conference was not just a routine assignment anymore. It was the beginning of something much greater. The next morning, Alex found himself in the station's language workshop, a spacious room lined with interactive screens and translation devices. Today, he was to facilitate a session focused on linguistic exchange, a vital aspect of any cultural dialogue. The room buzzed with chatter as representatives from various species gathered, eager to share their languages. Lyra arrived with her colleagues, and a small crowd formed around them, intrigued by their appearance and keen to learn their language. Alex watched as Lyra handled the attention with grace, her words slow and clear, helping others mimic her unique dialect. As the participants paired off, Alex approached Lyra. "Looks like you're a natural at this," he remarked. Lyra smiled, her eyes lighting up. "It's fascinating to see so many eager to learn. And I'm equally curious about your language, Alex. Human languages are known for their complexity and beauty. Would you like to pair up for the session?" Alex suggested, offering her a seat at a nearby station equipped with language learning tools. "I'd like that," she said, sitting down. Alex activated the device, setting it to beginner level for Zilithian and advanced for English, mindful of Lyra's proficiency. "Let's start with something simple," Alex began. In English, a common greeting is, "How are you?" It's a way to inquire about someone's state. Lyra repeated the phrase, her accent adding a musical quality to the words. "How are you?" she asked, her smile encouraging. "I'm good, thanks," Alex replied. And in Zilithian? In Zilithian, we say, Vci Tornbell? It translates to, does your sky shine bright? It's our way of asking if you are well. Vci Tornbell? Alex tried, stumbling a bit over the pronunciation. Lyra laughed gently. Very close. But let the R roll a little more. They continued, exchanging phrases and laughter, the session flowing seamlessly into teaching each other simple sentences about likes, dislikes, and everyday activities. As a child, what did you enjoy the most? Alex asked, using the session as an opportunity to delve deeper. I loved climbing the Tavara trees on my home planet, Lyra shared. The higher I climbed, the closer I felt to touching the stars. That sounds amazing, Alex said, genuinely intrigued. I used to spend hours at the beach watching ships sail by, imagining exploring new worlds. It seems we both have been explorers at heart from the start, Lyra noted, her gaze thoughtful. The session drew to a close, but neither seemed eager to part. Would you like to join me for a tour of the station's art gallery? Alex proposed. There's a section dedicated to interstellar art forms that might interest you. I would love that, Lyra replied, her voice reflecting her anticipation. As they walked toward the gallery, their conversation veered from language to personal aspirations, each revelation forging a stronger bond between them. The gallery itself was a quiet, contemplative space, filled with artworks ranging from holographic sculptures to ancient alien tapestries. Standing before a dynamic painting depicting the formation of a galaxy, Lyra turned to Alex. This reminds me of the Tavara trees, she mused. Both reach out, growing and expanding into the space around them. And like us, Alex added, always reaching out, trying to connect, to understand. Lyra nodded, her expression thoughtful. Yes, Alex. It's more than just exploring. It's about connecting, making the universe a little less vast. As they left the gallery, the light from the nearby star filtered through the station's dome, casting a warm glow over them. In that light, Alex saw Lyra not just as an alien delegate, but as someone he genuinely wanted to know deeper, beyond languages and cultural exchanges. The seeds of a profound relationship, he sensed, were just beginning to sprout. The reception hall of the intergalactic space station had been transformed for the evening's event, a cultural gala featuring dances from across the universe. The zero-gravity dance floor, a marvel of engineering and creativity, allowed beings of all gravities to interact in a unique, floating dance space. The room buzzed with excitement as species of varying anatomies and forms prepared to share their traditional movements. Alex stood by the entrance, greeting delegates as they arrived. His role as host required him to mingle and ensure that all guests felt welcome. It was then that he noticed Lyra and her companions entering the hall, their elegant attire catching the ambient light of the room. Welcome, Lyra, Varon Tila. Alex greeted them warmly. I hope you're ready to show off some Zilithian dance moves tonight. Lyra laughed, a glint of excitement in her eyes. We are prepared to try, though I must admit, dancing in zero gravity will be a new experience for us. Then you're in for a treat, Alex assured her. And perhaps later, you could join me for a dance? There's a particular earth dance I think you might enjoy. We would be honored, Varon said, his tone suggesting a formal politeness common to Zilithian culture. As the event officially started, various species took to the dance floor, showcasing their unique cultural expressions through movement. Alex watched in fascination as fluid forms and rigid structures alike moved in harmony to the universal music, a symphony composed to resonate across auditory spectrums. When it was time for the Earth segment, Alex found Lyra among the crowd. Ready for that dance? He asked, offering his hand. With pleasure, Lyra replied, placing her hand in his. They floated into the zero-gravity area, where Alex guided her through the basics of a slow waltz, adapted for their weightless environment. Like this, Alex instructed, gently steering their movements. Just follow my lead. The music swelled around them, a soft, melodic piece that filled the space with its soothing tones. Lyra adapted quickly, her body naturally synchronizing with Alex's movements. They spun slowly, the stars visible through the panoramic windows providing a stunning backdrop. It's beautiful, isn't it? Lyra said, her voice filled with wonder as she gazed out at the starlit galaxy beyond them. "It is," Alex agreed, following her gaze. "Sometimes, in the rush of our daily duties, we forget to just stop and look." "I know what you mean," Lyra responded. "Back home, it's easy to get caught up in responsibilities. Nights like these remind us of the beauty we're working to protect and understand." As the song ended, they paused, still floating, their hands clasped. "Thank you, Alex. This was more delightful than I anticipated," Lyra said, her face expressing genuine joy. "The pleasure was all mine," Alex replied. "Shall we head back? The evening is still young, and there are more dances to enjoy." "Yes, let's," Lyra agreed. They rejoined the others, sharing laughs and stories of their home worlds. As the night progressed, other delegates approached Alex and Lyra, drawn by their evident rapport. Together, they explained Earth and Zilithian dance traditions, finding common ground in the rhythms and patterns that transcended their differences. The gala continued late into the station's night cycle, with every dance, every shared moment weaving a tighter fabric of camaraderie and curiosity among the galaxy's diverse inhabitants. And as the event wound down, Alex and Lyra found themselves reluctant to part, their initial connection deepening into a friendship that promised to explore far beyond the dance floor. After the gala, the station returned to its usual rhythm of trade and diplomacy, but for Alex and Lyra, things had taken a decidedly personal turn. Their shared moments during the dance had sparked an interest that went beyond mere professional courtesy or cultural curiosity. On a bright, artificial morning, Alex invited Lyra to his quarters for a private viewing of some of Earth's cultural artifacts. His quarters were modest, but he had personalized them with touches of home, photographs of Earth's landscapes, a collection of classical music, and replicas of ancient artifacts. "Welcome, Lyra," Alex greeted as the door slid open. "I thought you might enjoy seeing some of the things that make Earth unique." Lyra stepped in, her eyes immediately drawn to the pictures and items that decorated the room. "It's very homely," she observed, her tone appreciative. "It feels like a piece of your world right here." Alex smiled, pleased by her reaction. "I like to have reminders of home. Helps keep the homesickness at bay," he explained, leading her to a display case containing a small, intricately carved music box. This, for example, is a replica of an 18th century music box. "It's one of my favorite pieces." He opened the box, and a delicate melody filled the room. Lyra listened intently, her face reflecting the serene sounds. "It's beautiful," she said. "Does much of Earth's music carry such tranquility?" "A lot of it does," Alex replied, closing the lid gently. "But we have a wide range of music that expresses all sorts of emotions. Joy, sadness, excitement, peace. I would like to learn more about them," Lyra said, her interest evident. "Music seems to be a significant part of human culture." "It is," Alex agreed. "It's a way to express what we sometimes cannot put into words." He paused, considering. "Would you like to try some Earth-style cooking? I'm no chef, but I can certainly make a few simple dishes." Lyra looked delighted at the offer. "I would love that. It would be a new experience to taste your world's cuisine." As Alex moved to the small kitchenette, he guided Lyra through the ingredients he had, a variety of vegetables and spices that were staples back on Earth. "We'll start with something simple," he suggested, deciding on a dish. "How about a salad? It's easy, and the freshness of the ingredients makes it quite appealing." Together, they washed and chopped vegetables, Lyra handling the knife awkwardly at first, but quickly adapting under Alex's guidance. They chatted about the different foods found on their respective worlds, comparing flavors and cooking techniques. "The Zilithian staple is more about blending nutrients than flavors," Lyra explained as she mixed the salad. "We eat more for sustenance than pleasure, though we do have special dishes for celebrations." "That's interesting," Alex said, sprinkling some spices over the salad. "For humans, eating can be a deeply social, even emotional experience. It's as much about pleasure as it is about nourishment." The conversation moved naturally from food to other cultural practices, each exchange deepening their understanding of each other's worlds. By the time they sat down to eat, there was a comfortable familiarity between them. "This is delicious," Lyra commented, tasting the salad. "Simple, yet very flavorful. I'm glad you like it, Alex responded, pleased. Maybe next time. You can teach me how to prepare a Zolithian dish. I would like that, Lyra said, her eyes meeting his. I would like that very much. As they cleared the dishes later, the sense of closeness that had been building between them felt almost tangible. Today was wonderful, Lyra said as she prepared to leave. Thank you, Alex, for sharing a piece of your world with me. It was my pleasure, Alex replied, genuine warmth in his voice. Let's do this again soon. Let's, Lyra agreed, her smile lingering as the door closed behind her. The following week, Lyra invited Alex to visit one of the simulation rooms on the station that could recreate environments from any recorded planet. It was her turn to share a piece of her world, and she chose a setting that was significant to her. The luminous forests of Zolithia at dusk, a time when the flora emitted a soft, radiant glow. As Alex entered the simulation room, he was immediately struck by the surreal beauty of the scene. The air was tinged with a gentle fragrance, and the ground beneath their feet felt alive with a subtle vibrance. This is incredible, Lyra, Alex breathed, taking in the sights. I'm glad you like it, Lyra said, leading him down a path lined with bioluminescent plants. This forest is a place of tranquility and reflection for my people. It's where we come to think, to dream, and sometimes to escape. They walked in companionable silence for a few moments, each step illuminating the path with a soft glow. Finally, Alex spoke. It's peaceful, almost like it's another world entirely. It is, in a way, Lyra agreed. A world within a world. That's why I wanted to show it to you. As they continued to explore, Lyra reached out to touch a hanging frond, and it shimmered brightly at her touch. Everything here is responsive, she explained. The plants, the air, the very soil. It all interacts with living beings. Alex reached out to mimic her actions, and the plant lit up under his fingers as well. It's like magic, he said, a sense of wonder in his voice. Lyra laughed softly. Zolithian children think so too. I spent many days playing here as a child, pretending to be a sorceress controlling the lights. Sounds like a wonderful way to grow up, Alex mused. It was, Lyra confessed, but as I grew older, the responsibilities of being a Zolithian overshadowed the magic. Coming here with you. It reminds me of those simpler times. Their walk brought them to a clearing, where the light from the glowing plants cast ethereal patterns on the ground. Lyra turned to Alex, her eyes reflecting the light. Alex, being here with you, I feel a sense of something new, something exciting and a little forbidden. Alex felt his heart quicken. Lyra, Before he could finish, Lyra stepped closer, closing the distance between them. This feeling, I can't resist. Destroy me, human, she whispered with a smile, using the phrase as an echo of their earlier conversations about language and expression. Caught in the moment, Alex reached out to touch her face, tracing the line of her jaw gently with his fingers. Lyra, I don't want to overstep or misunderstand, but this, being here with you, it feels right. It does, doesn't it? Lyra responded, leaning into his touch. But we must be careful. Relationships like ours can be complicated. I know, Alex agreed, his hand dropping to his side. But maybe it's worth the complication. Lyra nodded, taking a step back with a reluctant sigh. Maybe it is. The simulation slowly faded around them, returning them to the stark, metallic reality of the space station. But the light from the Zolithian forest seemed to linger in their eyes, a reminder of the possibility that lay just beyond the boundaries they knew. As they exited the room, their hands brushed lightly, a promise of what could be, if only they dared to explore it further. Let's keep this between us, for now, Lyra suggested. For now, Alex agreed, feeling the weight of their shared secret bind them even closer. The weeks following their encounter in the simulation room saw Alex and Lyra navigating the delicate balance between their professional duties and their growing personal connection. Despite the complications, they found themselves drawn to each other, seeking moments of privacy amidst the busy routine of the space station. One evening, after a particularly long day of conferences and meetings, Alex invited Lyra to join him in one of the station's lesser-known retreats. the botanical gardens. This area was designed to mimic an Earth-like environment, complete with a variety of plant species from different terrains of Earth. As Lyra entered the garden, the lush greenery and the scent of fresh earth greeted her. "This place feels like a different universe," she remarked, taking a deep breath. "It's one of my favorite spots on the station," Alex shared, leading her down a path lined with flowering bushes and tall trees. "It's a place to unwind, to forget the metal and machinery for a while." They wandered through the gardens, occasionally stopping to admire a particularly vibrant flower or a strangely shaped plant. The natural setting eased them into a comfort that spaceships and stations rarely afforded. "Back on Earth, gardens are a place for reflection and recreation," Alex explained as they came to a small pond, its surface smooth and mirror-like. "People come here to think, to be alone with their thoughts, or to share quiet moments with others." Lyra looked at him, her expression thoughtful. "It seems we share a need for such spaces, no matter where we're from." Alex nodded, sitting on a bench by the pond. "Do you have places like this on Zalithia?" "We do," Lyra replied, joining him on the bench. "Though our natural landscapes are quite different, the idea is the same. Sanctuaries of solitude and peace." The conversation paused as they both looked at the pond, watching a couple of small, robotic fish glide under the surface. The artificiality of the fish was a stark reminder of their surroundings, far from any natural world. Lyra turned to face Alex, her eyes searching his. "Alex, what we are doing, do you think it's wise?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Alex met her gaze, his decision clear. "Wise? Maybe not. But it feels important. Necessary, even. Doesn't it?" "It does," Lyra admitted. "And yet, I am torn. We come from different worlds, Alex. The implications of our friendship, they could be significant." Alex reached out, taking her hand in his. "I know," he said softly, "but sometimes, the most significant things in life are the ones we never planned for." Lyra's fingers tightened around his. "I never expected to feel this way," she confessed. "Not here, not with someone so different from myself." "Nor did I," Alex agreed. "But here we are, Lyra. And I can't help but think this is exactly where we're supposed to be." The intimacy of the moment was palpable, charged with the potential of what could be. Lyra leaned closer, her voice a breathy echo. "This feeling, I can't resist. Destroy me, human." She repeated the phrase from their previous encounter, now a tender acknowledgement of their deepening bond. Alex chuckled softly, the sound mingling with the rustle of the leaves. "Let's not think about tomorrow, not yet. For now, let's just be here, together." They sat in silence, hand in hand, until the stars began to peek through the artificial sky above them. The botanical garden, with its earth-like tranquility, wrapped around them like a cocoon, shielding them from the rest of the universe if only for a little while. As they eventually stood to leave, the connection between them was stronger, their path forward uncertain but irresistibly compelling. "Thank you for tonight, Alex," Lyra said, her voice steady despite the emotions she felt. "Thank you, Lyra," Alex replied, feeling the weight of their shared secret bind them even closer. "For trusting me with this part of you." They left the garden together, the memory of the evening a gentle echo in their hearts, a promise of more to come. As Alex and Lyra's connection deepened, the reality of their unique situation began to permeate their daily interactions. Their relationship, no longer just a private solace, started to draw attention within the multicultural fabric of the space station. Whispers of an interspecies relationship between a human and a Zalithian, an unheard-of liaison, began to circulate among the station's residents. One afternoon, as the station hosted a forum on intergalactic relations, Alex and Lyra found themselves at the center of a heated debate about cultural integration and the boundaries of interspecies relationships. They had decided to attend together, standing side by side as symbols of their personal and professional unions. Mr. Jensen, Miss Lyra, the moderator, a dignified Eltorian, addressed them with a formal nod. "Your relationship has sparked considerable discussion. Could you share with us how you navigate the challenges posed by your differing cultural backgrounds?" Alex glanced at Lyra, receiving a reassuring nod before he spoke. Thank you for the opportunity. The challenges are real and not insignificant. Our cultures are vastly different, but at the heart of our interaction is a mutual respect and a desire to understand each other. We focus on the similarities that unite us, not just the differences that might divide us. Lyra took up the narrative smoothly. Indeed, we have learned much from each other. For instance, Alex has introduced me to the concept of earth music, which transcends language and cultural barriers. In turn, I have shared with Alex the Zilithian practices of meditation and connection to our environment, which have enriched his understanding of my people. The audience, a mix of various species, listened intently, some nodding in agreement, while others seemed skeptical. A Palladian delegate raised a question. Isn't there a risk that such unions could dilute your distinct cultures? How do you address such concerns? Lyra responded thoughtfully. It's a valid concern, but rather than dilution, we see it as an expansion of our horizons. We celebrate our differences and find common ground where we can. It's a delicate balance, but one worth maintaining for the sake of deeper understanding and peace. An Erechite from the back spoke up, his voice carrying a curious tone. Has your relationship affected your professional responsibilities on the station? Alex answered this directly. Our primary roles haven't changed. We remain committed to our duties. If anything, our relationship has enhanced our work, allowing for a broader perspective and a deeper empathy in our diplomatic engagements. The discussion continued, with various delegates expressing their opinions and asking more pointed questions. The debate was lively, reflecting the diversity of thoughts and feelings about such a novel situation. As the forum concluded, Alex and Lyra left together, their hands briefly touching in a show of solidarity and mutual support. The public scrutiny was challenging, but it also brought them closer, forging their bond in the fires of public opinion. Later that evening, in the quieter confines of the botanical gardens, they reflected on the day's events. Do you think we changed any minds today? Alex asked, genuinely curious about her take. Lyra looked thoughtful. Perhaps. Minds do not change quickly, especially on such fundamental issues. But every conversation opens a door, a possibility for new understanding. Alex nodded, feeling the weight of their journey. It's not just about us, is it? It's about paving the way for future interactions, for a deeper integration of our worlds. Exactly, Lyra agreed, her voice soft but firm. And regardless of the challenges, I believe what we are doing is important, not just for us but for everyone who comes after. They sat together, watching the artificial sunset over the synthetic horizon, their shared vision for the future as vivid and hopeful as the colors streaking across the sky. The day of the multilateral council meeting had arrived, a pivotal moment for Alex and Lyra. The council chamber was filled with representatives from numerous planetary systems, each delegate prepared to discuss the policies that would shape future interspecies interactions. Amid the formal attire and serious expressions, Alex and Lyra sat together, their previous private exchanges now set to unfold on a very public stage. As the meeting commenced, the chairman, a venerable figure from the planet of Grax, opened the session with a formal greeting. Today, we gather to deliberate on matters of cultural and interspecies relationships, a topic brought to the forefront by the unique partnership between one of our esteemed human delegates and a distinguished Zilithian representative. The room fell silent as all eyes turned towards Alex and Lyra. Standing up, Alex cleared his throat, his voice calm but carrying a subtle strength. Honorable delegates, thank you for allowing us the floor. Today, I stand before you with Lyra, not just as fellow delegates but as examples of what can be achieved through true understanding and integration. Lyra took over seamlessly, her voice echoing in the chamber. Our relationship began as a simple exchange of cultural knowledge and has grown into something much more profound. We come from different worlds, yet we've found common ground, learning from each other and enriching our respective cultures. A delegate from the aquatic planet of Pelagia raised a hand, her tone curious. While your personal journey is indeed compelling, how do you propose we address the broader implications of such relationships? How do we ensure that these unions do not compromise our individual cultural identities? Alex responded, that's an excellent question. We believe that establishing comprehensive educational programs focusing on cultural sensitivity and mutual respect is essential. By fostering an environment where interspecies relationships are understood and appreciated, we can protect our heritages while also embracing a shared future. Lyra added, moreover, we propose the creation of a council-sanctioned framework that outlines the rights and responsibilities of interspecies partnerships. This framework would not only provide legal recognition, but also ensure that both parties have a clear understanding of their commitments and the cultural nuances involved. The debate that followed was intense, with various delegates voicing support and concerns. Discussions covered legal implications, societal impacts, and potential guidelines for interspecies relationships. As the hours passed, Alex and Lyra addressed each point with patience and diplomacy, their partnership a testament to the very principles they advocated. When the final vote was called, the room held its breath. The result was more favorable than Alex and Lyra had dared to hope. The motion to recognize and support interspecies relationships through legal and educational measures was passed, albeit with provisions for ongoing review and adjustments based on cultural feedback. After the meeting, as the chamber slowly emptied, Alex and Lyra remained seated, the weight of their victory sinking in. "We did it," Alex said quietly, the relief and joy evident in his voice. "We did," Lyra agreed, her hand finding his. "But this is just the beginning, Alex. There's much work to be done." "I know," Alex replied, squeezing her hand. "But whatever comes, we'll face it together." They stood, their shared resolve clear in their stance. Walking out of the chamber, they were not just Alex and Lyra anymore. They were pioneers on a path that would hopefully lead many others towards understanding and unity. Their journey had started with a simple act of curiosity and had blossomed into a movement that might one day change the galaxy. As they exited into the corridor, their steps were light, their hearts full, ready to continue the work they had started together.